Yeah.
So that was another population that I think it's really impactful for.
So as soon as I'm host, I will share my screen and my slide.
Says live on mine.
We're
Okay.
live, but
Live.
still
Are
waiting.
we? Yes. Okay, I see that. All right. So Marvy, I'm going to make, well, first I'm going to hit record to the cloud. Now, Marvy, I'm going to make you the host.
Okay, thank you.
Hold on. Can
I'm
you
gonna
confirm
mute.
that you're the host? Yep, I see that. And you're ready to go.
Thank you so much.
I'm going to sign off and y'all have a great session.
We will.
Thank you.
very much. Well, welcome back to our parent sessions beginning at the beginning, hosted by the Dyslexia Initiative. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Marvy Hagopian. The purpose of our meetings is to share ways you can support beginning literacy skills at home using a systematic, scientifically proven approach. Today, we continue our discussion on phonological awareness skills. Alicia Calvas is a board member of the Dyslexia Initiative and also a regional leader. She is facilitating today's meeting and will monitor your comments in the chat box. Alicia, please say hello.
Hello, everybody. So happy to be here with y'all.
We genuinely enjoy learning where our participants live because we have people participating from all around the world. So if you do not mind, please write your general location in the chat box. Then Alicia will acknowledge your locations. And while you're typing, let me introduce our panel members. Panel members have joined us to share their expertise and insights. They are administrators and teachers who are well versed in the science of reading, having experienced educators who know firsthand the value of teaching reading based on the science will significantly enhance our experience. Panel members, when I say your name, please say hello so we can see who you are. And we have Terry,
Hi.
Michelle,
Hi, everybody.
and Marilyn.
Hello.
Panel members' bios are on the Dyslexia Initiative website. Alicia, can you please tell us from where members of our audience are participating? Well, Alicia, can you please tell us from where
Sure.
members of our audience are participating?
I have New Jersey, Massachusetts, California, North Carolina, Long Island, Oklahoma.
Alicia, can you please tell us
Sure.
where members of our audience? We can hear your feedback, just so you know. Okay, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to be with us. This is going to be a great session. Let's transition back to our slides. Well, in previous sessions, we have focused on the three cornerstones of beginning reading. Our purpose today is to continue to expand upon cornerstone 2, awareness of the sound structure of language, which is phonological awareness. Children gain an awareness of the sound structure of language in a developmental sequence. In sessions 8 and 9, we began our presentation by defining phonological awareness, and we gave you basic information about what some of those skills looked like. Those two sessions contained a great deal of information The recorded versions are available on the Dyslexia Initiative's website should you want to watch or review them. In our at the beginning sessions, we talked about text awareness, which includes vocabulary development, prior knowledge, and background knowledge, and how they relate to the development of meaning in language. We also discussed the other aspect of language, its sound structure. In our last two sessions, we emphasized that noticing the sound structure of language, which is phonological awareness, is not readily apparent for many children and even some adults. Today we are going to focus on phonemic awareness, the most complicated and critical of all the phonological awareness skills. Remember, phonological awareness involves spoken language only. In each of our phonological awareness sessions, we have referenced this pyramid to represent the hierarchy of phonological awareness. At the bottom of the pyramid is listening to and repeating rhymes. Each level becomes more complex as we move up the pyramid. Today, we begin part 1 of our discussion on phonemic awareness. Phonemic awareness is at the top of the pyramid because it includes the most complex skills of phonological awareness. Well, what is phonemic awareness? Phonemic awareness is the conscious awareness that words are made up of individual sounds or phonemes. It is the most advanced and challenging level of phonological awareness. This quote from Dr. Sally Shaywitz's book confirms the critical importance of phonemic awareness in a child's reading success. She states, phonemic awareness refers to the most advanced ability to notice, identify, think about, and manipulate the smallest particles of language making up a word. Phonemes. She continues with this very important statement. Phonemic awareness has the strongest relationship to later reading. For children to succeed as readers and spellers, they need a solid foundation of phonemic awareness skills. To represent the hierarchy of phonemic awareness skills, we are using a stair-step graphic. Phonemic awareness is the conscious awareness that words are made up of phonemes or individual sounds. The beginning skills are listed on the 4 lowest steps of the staircase. Notice along the right side of the graphic, we have identified the beginning skills as well as the advanced skills. Today, we are only addressing the beginning skills of phonemic awareness. As we climb the stairs, the skills become more advanced. On the first step, you see phoneme isolation and identification. These are the most basic phonemic awareness skills. Phoneme isolation involves noticing the position of where individual sounds appear in a word. An example of this basic skill would be the following. The teacher says, "What is the first sound in the word make?" Listen as I say the word make. The child would answer, The teacher would continue with other words such as the word sock. "What is the first sound in the word sock?" The child would answer, S. Notice that I emphasized the target sound. Phoneme identification is like phoneme isolation, except the child is comparing words and saying the sounds the words have in common. For example, what is the common sound in the words dig, dash, and doll? The answer is D. The next step, which is orange on the graphic, is phoneme counting. This skill involves noticing the number of phonemes or sounds in a word. An example of this skill is, listen to my word. The word is sat. Listen and watch my fingers as I say the word again. Sat. The teacher holds up a finger for each sound. Then the child and teacher do it again. The teacher says, count the sounds in sat with me. Sat. Finally, the teacher asks, how many sounds did you hear in the word sat? The child answers, 3. At this level, teachers are providing lots of scaffolding or support by counting the sounds with the child. Now, the yellow level on the stair steps is blending. Blending is critical for decoding words because we blend sounds together to read. Phoneme blending requires a child to listen to and combine individual sounds to say a word. For this activity, the teacher says, we are going to blend some sounds to make a word. Listen to this word. Miss. Next, the child is invited to say the sounds with the teacher. She says, say it with me. Miss. Then she says, say miss the way we speak. The child responds, miss. Segmentation skills are represented on the green step. Phoneme segmentation involves dividing a word into phonemes, which is a necessary skill for spelling words correctly. On the continuum of phonemic awareness beginning skills, phoneme segmentation is the most difficult. Here's an example of how this skill is taught. The teacher says, today we are going to separate the sounds we hear in a word. Listen to the word man. Say man. The child says man. Then the teacher says, listen as I separate the sounds in man. N. Separate the sounds in man with me. N. Now it's your turn. Say the sounds you hear in man. And the child responds, N. Let's take a quick look at the top 3 levels on the staircase. They are the advanced skills of addition, deletion, and substitution. These skills are often developed in tandem with phonics and spelling instruction. We will address these skills in future sessions. Before working with children on phonemic awareness, it is extremely important that we learn how to pronounce individual phonemes as correctly as possible. English has 40 to 44 different phonemes. Saying as part of pronouncing a consonant sound is incorrectly adding an additional phoneme or sound. For example, if we say ba instead of b or da instead of d, this can be confusing for a child. Our first video explains and demonstrates how individual general American English phonemes are pronounced. As you watch the video, notice how the sounds are formed. So I'm going to stop sharing our slide and transition to our video. Let's watch this one.
Hi, I'm Yvette, a facilitator at the Rollins Center for Language and Literacy. You probably already know the English language has very distinct sounds, or phonemes, that we combine in different ways to make words. In this video, we are going to demonstrate how to pronounce each of the individual phonemes. Often, we accidentally add an extra or schwa sound to the end of consonants. If students hear this and imitate it, it may then be reflected in later reading and writing tasks. To prevent this, it is important to produce only the phoneme itself without any additional sounds. An example of this is the sound p. Sometimes when teachers are trying to emphasize or isolate a phoneme, they say p. Instead, focus on producing just the phoneme itself. We'll start with the consonant phonemes. You'll see the associated letter or letter combination, also known as a grapheme, on the screen as I say the sound. Ready? Here we go. B as in banana. D as in dinosaur. F as in fish. G as in guitar. H as in hand. J as in jelly. K as in car. U as in leaf. M as in Monday. N as in nail. Ng as in the end of the word sing. P as in pumpkin. R as in rain. S as in sun. Z as in the middle of treasure. T as in turtle. V as in volcano. W as in watch. Y as in yo-yo. Z as in zip. Some graphemes, such as Q and X, are composed of two phonemes. For example, Q makes the qu sound, and X makes the x sound. The next phonemes are considered to be digraphs, where two letters make one sound. Ch as in child. Sh as in shoes. Th as in the middle of mother. Th as in third. Make sure students hear you pronounce phonemes correctly. You're modeling the language that they need to independently decode and write words. Just like the consonants, the English language has a wide variety of vowel phonemes with their own distinct sounds. I'll model each sound, and the grapheme will be shown on the screen below. A as in the first sound in apple. E as in the first sound in elephant. I as in the first sound in igloo. A as in the first sound in octopus. As in the first sound in umbrella. A as in the middle sound in rain. A as in the final sound in saw. E as in the final sound in tree. I as in the middle sound in light. O as in the middle sound in boat. U as in the first sound in uniform. U as in the middle sound in mood. As in the middle sound in book. Ow as in the final sound in cow. Oi as in the final sound in boy. There are also R-controlled vowels, such as R, as in the final sound in car. As in the middle sounds in heard, bird, and surf. Air, as in the final sound in chair. Ear, as in the final sound in spear. Or as in the middle sound in fork. Sometimes, when a vowel sound is located in the unstressed syllable of a word, it becomes a schwa. An example of this is the that you hear as in the first sound of the word again. Make sure that your students hear you model the correct consonant and vowel phonemes. This will help them produce the correct sounds themselves, and in turn, guide them as they learn to read and write.
I was so happy I found that video for you. Just a minute. Okay, the sounds that were presented in the video are based upon general American English phonemes and are not based on any particular dialect. When we look at sound waves, it becomes evident why phonemic awareness is difficult. The sounds in the words we speak slide into one another. The word cat is heard as one sound, not three. This idea that spoken words consist of individual sounds is abstract and not easy to perceive for some individuals. Yet this idea is foundational to an alphabetic writing system. Some of us figure out that words consist of individual sounds on our own, but others are simply not wired to naturally make this distinction. We must help children and adults who have difficulty blending and segmenting individual sounds in spoken words to learn this skill. Because without this understanding, phonics will not make sense. In our next video, Dr. Louisa Moats helps us differentiate between letters and phonemes and understand why the concepts can be confusing. Before we watch our next video, let's do 2 phonemic awareness activities. If you have a paper and pencil handy, you can jot down your answers. Otherwise, just remember them. The first question is, how many sounds do you hear in the word shoe? Next question. How many sounds do you hear in the word 6? Now let's watch Dr. Moats explain the difference between letters and phonemes. So I'm going to stop my slide presentation and switch to Dr. Moats.
People, even a lot of teachers we've worked with, as you know, will confuse the idea of a letter with the idea of a sound, because we have a problem in English. We have 26 letters and 40 to 44 speech sounds to spell those. So of course you have to use letter combinations to spell some of them. And then we have several spellings for some sounds and several sounds for some spellings. Mm-hmm. So, you know, if we count the number of sounds in shoe, there are 2, sh and oo, even though they're 4 letters. Many adults, if I ask them to tell me the number of sounds in the word 6, will tell me that there are 3. They'll go s, I, x. But the way I count those sounds is s, I, k, s. And the way I would prove that is that sick has 3 sounds, s, I, k. And if you add a s onto the end of sick, you get 6. But it's confusing because we use 3 letters for 4 sounds. That's a revelation to a lot of people, but it's the most critical underlying skill that will help the children learn to read and spell.
Okay, now we go back to our slideshow. There we are. For many of us, when we first learned the concept of phonemes, we often automatically associated letters with sounds. Dr. Moats reminded us there are 40 to 44 English speech sounds, but only 26 letters. Therefore, some sounds are spelled with more than one letter. When I asked you to say the number of sounds in the word 6, you may have answered 3. However, Dr. Moats explained the letter X in this word consists of 2 sounds, k and s. For those of us who answered 3 sounds, we were visualizing how the word is spelled, S-I-X, rather than listening for the individual sounds in the word. There are 4 phonemes in the spoken word 6. S, I, k, s. This exercise demonstrates why reading and spelling are so difficult for people who cannot detect individual sounds in spoken words. As we have discussed, this critical skill is phonemic awareness. Our next video shows phoneme isolation and identification, blending, and segmenting activities you can do with your child. So we're going to transition back to our last video. Here it is.
Today, I want to talk to you about phonological awareness at the phoneme level. Such a critical piece in teaching kids to learn to read. This is the ability to hear, identify, and manipulate individual sound structures in words, and those individual sound structures are called phonemes. So in order for kids to be able to learn to read and read well, it's not enough to just know the letter names, the letter sounds, and have a good vocabulary. They've also got to be able to, again, hear, identify, and manipulate those individual sound structures in words. I'll talk to you a little bit more about how this connects to reading, but let's first look at a little bit deeper how we can teach phonemic awareness in our classroom. So there's lots of different types of phonemic awareness. We can be identifying initial sounds. We could be identifying ending sounds. We could be identifying medial sounds, which is the middle sound. It could look something like, boys and girls, what's the first sound you hear in man? And they would say, That's identifying an initial sound. You could do that same thing with identifying an ending sound. Boys and girls, what's the last sound you hear in man? And then, of course, the medial sound, which is usually the most difficult. What's the middle sound in the word man? And they'd have to say ah. But eventually, those are all important first steps. But eventually, you want to be able to get them to the level of blending and segmenting at the phoneme level. And we've talked about blending and segmenting in the previous videos. What blending is at the word level, what it is at the syllable level, what it is at the onset rhyme level, and the same thing at all of those levels for segmentation. So just to review, what is blending and segmenting? Because it's really critical at the phoneme level. It really is the purpose for why we're working on blending and segmenting at all those other levels, because we want to get them to blending and segmenting at the phoneme level. Blending, again, is putting it together. Segmenting is taking it apart. So if we were doing that at the phoneme level, it would look something like this for blending. We could say, boys and girls, listen. I'm going to say 3 sounds. When I'm done, I want you to tell me, put those sounds together and tell me what word I've just made. Listen carefully. What's my word? Man. You were just able to blend those sounds together to tell me a word. And you didn't have to see the letter M, the letter A, and the letter N to do that. We were able to do that auditorily. That's why we're saying this is phonemic awareness. It could be done in the dark. This is something that could just be done by listening. You're going to practice individual sounds to make words. I'll hold up a finger as I say each sound in the word, and when I snap, you'll put those sounds together and say the whole word. Watch me do the first one. Are you ready? My turn. Word, but. That's exactly how to do it. Let's try another one. Let's blend a few more sounds together. Try this one. Ch, p. What word? Champ. That one was a little bit more difficult. It had 4 sounds. It also had a blend at the end. But being able to put those sounds together, you were blending. Now we could do the reverse of that, which is segmenting, pulling those sounds apart. Okay, so I will give you the whole, you tell me the parts. Here's how I would do it in a classroom. I would say something like, boys and girls, the word is man. What's the word? Man. Tell me the sounds you hear in man. Fist in the air, say and count the sounds in man. Ready? How many sounds are there? 3. Very good. What was the word? Man. The next word is run. What word? Run. Go. What's the word? Run. Yes, run. How many sounds? 3. 3. Good job. Let's do another word. The word is champ. What word? Champ. Say and count the sounds in champ. Fist in the air. Ready, go. Ch, p. What's the word? Champ. Yes, champ. So looking at those sound structures in words at the phoneme level, here's what this does for reading. It really is that foundational precursor skill. Phoneme blending builds the foundation for reading, while phoneme segmentation builds the foundation for spelling. When kids are able to orally blend sounds, when they come to a word, and now we're at the phonics strand, but once we're able to take kids to the connecting those sounds to the letters, and they actually have print in front of them, and they're saying the sounds that they see according to the letters, for example. Because they've practiced it auditorily, they're going to be able to then blend those sounds orally on the page to be able to come up with that word, which is man. It connects, it's a precursor skill, foundational skill that connects to that later reading. In the same idea, in that same strand and same thought, segmenting builds the foundation for spelling. So good spellers don't just memorize words. Good spellers have a strategy for spelling. And one of the first strategies that good spellers have is that they're able to segment words into individual sounds. And then they connect those sounds that they hear to the spellings in our language or the orthographic patterns in our language. So let's think about that. When I give you the word champ, if you're able to first segment into sounds, ch, which is a phonological or really phonemic awareness skill, then I can take those 4 sounds and map them to the way we spell those sounds in English. This is a precursor skill to being able to map them. If you can't first identify the sounds, how are you then going to map them to print? So I'm just going to say it one more time so that it's clear. Phoneme blending builds the foundation for later reading success. Phoneme segmentation is going to build the foundation for later reading and spelling success, okay? That's it in terms of phonemic awareness. In the next video, what I'm going to be able to do is talk a little bit more at this phonemic awareness level, but what we're going to do is take it beyond blending and segmenting and talk about phonemic awareness at these advanced levels of phoneme manipulation, which includes phoneme addition, phoneme deletion, and phoneme substitution. Those skills are also critical for becoming a proficient reader, and I'll help build the case for that in the next video. I hope you found this video helpful. Give us a thumbs up if you did. And remember, you can also subscribe to our channel, and we are releasing new videos every week. Thanks for watching.
Okay. As mentioned in the video, phoneme blending is a precursor to reading, and phoneme segmentation is necessary for accurate spelling. This is why phonemic awareness is so critical and is the foundation for successful reading and spelling. There are many phonological awareness resources, including materials for older, struggling readers, available in school supply stores, bookstores, and online that are designed to build phonemic awareness skills. Here are just 3 examples. Marilyn Jager Adams and Barbara Foreman's Phonemic Awareness in Young Children can be purchased online. Sounds and Letters for Readers and Spellers by Jane Feld Green is out of print, but can be downloaded as a PDF. The last book shown, Road to the Code by Benita Blockman, is available for online purchase. The links for these resources will be listed on the Dyslexia Initiative's website. Well, it's already time to wrap up today's session. Today we learned phonemic awareness develops through isolating and identifying the individual sounds in spoken words, counting the number of sounds in a spoken word, blending sounds to say a word, and segmenting the sounds in a word into its individual phonemes. Phoneme manipulation manipulating sounds in spoken words, which involves more advanced skills, will be addressed in future meetings. Phonemic awareness really is the most critical precursor for future reading success. But please do not lose sight of how we got to this point. This is Parent Session 10. Every meeting from our first session to now has important content intended to help your child learn to read. Therefore, we encourage you to watch our previous presentations in which we focused on text awareness, vocabulary development, background knowledge, and other important skills that lay the foundation for reading comprehension. And remember, if you missed sessions 8 and 9, which focused on the beginning levels of phonological awareness, they can be accessed via the Dyslexia Initiative's website. With each at the beginning parent session, our activities become more advanced. We are moving in a sequential fashion and learning the foundational skills for later reading success. If you have been with us since our first meeting, you no doubt have developed an appreciation for how much children need to learn in order to succeed as readers. At the end of each session, we offer ideas on resources you can utilize to learn more about reading acquisition. Here are today's suggestions. Visit the links on the Dyslexia Initiative website, where you will find recordings of our previous parent sessions. Continue to talk, read, and sing to your child and with your child nursery rhymes, poetry, and alliterative stories. Play phonemic awareness isolation, identification, counting, blending, and segmenting games with your child. Parent Session 11, Phonemic Awareness Part 2, is scheduled for March 16th. In Part 2, we will expand upon the beginning levels of phonemic awareness. We plan to model how these skills are taught and do some of the games and activities with you to help you gain confidence so that you know you've got this. You can help your child learn how to read. If you like today's session, please consider sharing our videos with friends and family members. The meetings are free and designed to not take up a lot of your take away from your busy schedule. Knowing we are reaching people from all around the world gives us energy and an enthusiastic desire to continue this work and help more people. It's time for our chat. This is our chance to get to know each other, and it's your opportunity to make comments and ask questions about today's session or previous meetings. While you are typing your questions, Alicia, can you please share a few more of the locations from where participants are watching?
Sure. So we have the North Shore of Massachusetts, Palm Beach, California, Texas, and Katy, Texas, also, Central New York, Australia, and Pakistan.
Pakistan.
Yeah.
It's really fun. We're reaching people from all around the world. Thank you all for joining us, and I hope you have lots of questions today. Do we have any questions right now?
No questions yet.
Okay. And when we were talking together as we were writing today's presentation, we really tried to zero in on the most important critical skills of phonemic awareness, and we really worked, put some extra time in trying to make sure that you had a solid foundation or understanding of what these skills look like, and some with some sample ideas on how you can teach or play games, phonemic awareness games with your children at home. Do any of our panel members have anything else to add? Oh, they're being silent today. Do we have any questions? Not today. Well, maybe we just did a really good job. I'm going to think that we did a great job today. That the content was clear and understandable. And I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us. Know that if you do have some questions later on tonight or in the future, you can still add comments to the Facebook Live page. So please do share your questions if anything comes up.
Okay, we do have a question. This person is asking, are there phonemic awareness benchmarks for children for each age and grade?
Well, Marilyn, you want to take that? Oh, wait a minute.
I would just say first of all, I would not equate stages of reading development with grades. It may be that some youngsters who are chronologically 11 or 12 never really grasped, for example, phonemic awareness. So you have to go back and begin at that point. Generally speaking, phonemic awareness is addressed in kindergarten. And then the more advanced skills, which we're going to talk about at the next session, would be grade 1 through 3 often. But it may be that some youngsters who are beyond those grades need more activities at this level. Because as Marvy noted, without phonemic awareness, phonics makes no sense. So if you know you're looking at this video, you're doing some of these activities, and you find that your child is struggling, then I would do a few and have fun and go back and do it again, because otherwise reading and spelling are going to be very difficult.
That was good suggestions. I have another question. Did you have?
I was just going to make a comment that a first grader who is having difficulty sounding out words and not able to spell words, a flag needs to go up. Because if they cannot segment the sounds in a word there and connect them to those letters, they're not going to be able to spell the words correctly. Or they're not going to be able to spell. They may hear the first sound, they may, guess at some of the sounds, but that is a red flag. So children who are really struggling with spelling in first grade or dictation activities, that would be a red flag. If they're not able to decode a word that they've been introduced to all the sounds for, and they're still not able to decode, that's another red flag to go up. Because in first grade, you start putting the letters with the sounds for reading and spelling. So that's why, everybody has been talking about it. It's a critical skill to be able to hear each one of those individual sounds in a word and then translate it. And as the person on the video said, map it to the grapheme that represents that sound. So, and if you have older children who have been chronic bad spellers, and readers, that's a huge red flag that skill was not fully developed for them early on. And, they may have gotten away with reading by a large sight vocabulary, but spelling always tells you whether or not a child is able to break a word apart and knows what letters represent those individual sounds.
Good.
So Tina is asking if we can recommend any phonemic awareness screeners or assessments that parents can do with their children. And so if we don't know any off the top of our head, we can post them later too. We need to do that.
There is one, it used to be, I haven't used it recently, but Joseph Torgerson's TOPA, the test of phonological awareness, is very basic screening tool. And it used to be free online. I would assume it still is. TOPA, TOPA, Test of Phonological Awareness. It has two parts. One is looking for this to see if the child can detect the initial sound in a word. And the second level is, can he or she notice the ending sound? So it's a good screen. And if a child, I've used it a lot at the beginning of first grade, the first part. And if a child is a beginning first grader and isn't noticing noticing correctly the beginning sound, in a spoken word, then as Terry said, that would be a red flag. So that's just a basic screen. There are other assessments such as the CTOP, the comprehensive test of phonological processing, but that usually is given by the school psychologist. It's an excellent test. And now it goes, I believe, from kindergarten, age 5, all the way through all levels. So, but that would need to be someone who's trained in how to give that assessment.
We have another question. Deborah is asking, how do you make the process multisensory?
Well, I've got a perfect tool that I can show you. This is a little phoneme phone that I made with, it's just PVC pipe that you get at Lowe's or Home Depot. You connect it, just put them together. And it's really great because you can turn it around, and I can speak in here, and this is in the child's ear. Okay, so it really is, it's not only tactile, so and the kids love to make the sounds in here and hear the sound in their ear. So if you say, you can really hear it in your ear. And so this is one. We talked about this also using rubber bands. So when you stretch a word, so or stretch a sound, if it's a continuous sound, these are good to use. Or for a word like man, those are things that you can use in there. And also, Marvy was using her fingers, and the lady on the video was using her fingers. You can do it on your arm. I've seen teachers do it like this, for each of the sounds. So there are a lot of little ways, and there are books that that you can find online that really are full of ideas for phonemic awareness, games and activities that they're fun to do, and the kids love them,
And we talked about little mirrors.
Oh, yes.
If a child has a mirror, a little inexpensive mirror, he or she can watch his mouth or her mouth as he or she makes the sound. So that is a big help for kids.
And that was why the woman and that video with the 44 phonemes, it was close up of her mouth. And when we do work with kids, it's like, look at my mouth, watch where I put my tongue, watch where my, my lips are for, or, and so, and have them with the mirror mimic what you're doing, because some of the sounds are difficult for the kids to make initially. So, especially if a child has some speech issues along with phonemic awareness issues. So, yeah, the mirror, those are just a few suggestions for making it multisensory.
Those are awesome. Let's see, we have someone who is mentioning that it can be difficult to get your older child, 9 or 10, that has poor phonemic awareness to engage in simple PA games and activities. They think it's a little bit too young for them. Do you have any suggestions on how to work through this?
Well, actually, the Jane Fell-Green materials, they're really designed for older struggling readers. They take the reader all the way through the stages, but they are, I've used those materials even with adults. So, and those are, as Marvy said, those are downloadable as a PDF in the book that she showed you by Jane Fell-Green. Sounds and Letters for Readers.
Sounds and Letters.
Yeah. So that would be, I think if I were working with an older child, I would use that material. It's really excellent.
All right. I think that's all the questions that we have today.
Those were perfect questions, actually. I couldn't have planned it better myself. So thank you. Thank you for those questions. You always ask great questions, and we really enjoy responding to them. So we'll see you in 2 weeks. We'll be presenting Phonemic Awareness Part 2. So thank you for joining us. Panel members, as always, thank you for all of the hard work that you're doing and helping me prepare for every session. And Alicia, thank you for sitting in for Ashley.
Yeah, it was great to be with y'all. Thank you so much. You guys always have such great information to share. So happy to be here.
Well, we're happy to be here ourselves. Okay, well, we look forward to seeing you next in 2 weeks. So for the next session.
Thank
And
you.
I think that's it for, so I guess we'll close out. Bye-bye.
Bye.